Yes, sir. What's the deal, everybody? It's your boy, I'm Mac, welcoming you to the Leisure Time Podcast Sports Talk, where we discuss some of the hottest sports topics going on in the world. Before or after you watch this video, please subscribe to the Leisure Time Podcast LLC YouTube page so you won't miss none of our content. Also, to those can't get to YouTube, please go download our audio versions or listen to our audio versions on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Thanks. Yes, sir. What's to do, everybody? And welcome to a new segment of the Leisure Time Podcast called X's and O's, right? Powered by CoolFan.com. That's CoolFan.com. We're going to be giving you insight, analysis on WSU games week by week this year. Also picking one or two plays offensively, one or two plays defensively to go over and break down, all right? So before we go over the X's and O's, let's talk about the game a little bit. Let's talk about it a little bit, right? First and foremost, right? 24-17 victory over Idaho. Clap that up, right? Clap that up. Gritty win, right? Wasn't what we all expected, right? But a win is a win, and I'll take that, right? Because if we would have got a loss, it would have been embarrassing. No cap, no cap. So the person everybody want to know about, right? Cam Ward. I believe that Cam Ward played well. 25 completions, right? 40 attempts, right? 3 touchdowns, 215 yards, right? Nakia Watson, 18 carries, 117 yards. Stribling and Ali both had 7 catches, right? But my player of the game, though, offensively is Nakia Watson, man. The man had 18 carries, like I said, 117 yards. And I feel like his ability to get north and south in the run game, get vertical, right? 5 to 6 yards of push, that unlocked the play action passing game that ultimately unlocked our offense, right? So I got to give Nakia Watson that edge defensively, offensively, I might say. Defensively now, right? I got to go with the D-line, right? The linebackers, right? The front seven. They made that quarterback's life a living hell all day, right? 7 sacks, 12 TFLs, right? I said it right. They had 7 sacks and 12 TFLs. Shout out to Coach Pete Callaghan. Shout out to Coach AJ Cooper, right? Shout out to Coach Ward. Shout out to Coach Dicker, right? Had the front seven going, had their motors going, and those guys were ready to play some ball. And I just appreciate that front seven play. As you know me as a defensive lineman, I love the front seven play. Just absolutely love it, right? So now, only allowing 62 rushing yards. 62 rushing yards. I know it's against the SCS Idaho, but that is impressive. Anytime you can hold an offense under 100 yards, your probability of winning goes up as a defense. So that's awesome takeaway from the defense. Another takeaway to take away from the defense is 212 passing yards. Yes, 212 passing yards. Not a lot of passing yards. The secondary was very impressive, right? A couple missed coverages, a couple missed deflections, but overall, I am super satisfied with the pass defense and run defense. A couple guys that I want to give shout outs to Amari Marsh, right? Brendan Jackson, Andrew Hudson. But the player of the game, Crenshaw's own, I hope I pronounced this right too. Forgive me if I don't. Dayon Henley, right? Dayon Henley had an absolute great debut for the Cougs, right? 8 total tackles, 3 TFLs, an interception, a sack, and you just seen one all over the field, right? So Henley, man, great game. I really appreciate it, right? So now, back on the offensive side of the ball, early in the game, we had 2 turnovers, right? Well, not even 4 minutes in the first quarter, right? Not even 4 minutes in the first quarter. So got to clean that up, right? We cannot have fumbles back-to-back possessions. One of those fumbles leading to the touchdown. So that hurt us offensively a lot and hurt our momentum offensively. Cam Ward, right? Back to Cam, right? I feel like Cam had a good debut, right? I feel like he was kind of pressing early in the game, right? He was kind of pressing. But overall, he had a good game. I think when we started doing more quick game passes, getting the ball out to our playmakers on the screens, shout out to Renard Bell, even scoring a touchdown on the screen on the 5-yard line. How air raid is that? Running a freaking receiver screen on the 5-yard line. That is air raid at its best, okay? So shout out to Cam Ward, getting the ball out, getting the rhythm. And I expect some good things moving forward, right? Overall, though, I know that Coach Morris is not going to like the sluggishness, right? It was kind of sluggish. Let's be real. Idaho defense came to play. They were in the 40 front most of the game, rushing that quarterback. They had a couple sacks, right? The DBs played with a real edge. And Coach Eck and them boys over there at Idaho, they building something special because that defense truly looked remarkable. Maybe Tavita Lose, these quality control defensive GA at Washington State back in the day might have told the defensive coaches over there how to stop the air raid because how they were moving, how they were grooving, man, that defense was good. So shout out to the Vandals on that. All right, defensively now, I really truly felt like we played lights out. We stopped the bleeding. I mean, it was 10-0 in a blink, right? Defense held their own in the red zone. At the end of the day, to me, an offense is going to get 20 to 20, right? That means they're going to start at their 20 and get to your 20, right? But what are you doing between that 20 and that goal line as a defense, right? Are you shrinking the field, right? Are you playing aggressive, right? Are you containing that end zone and not letting the offense score? And ultimately, defensively, I feel like Washington State did an awesome job doing that. Absolute awesome job doing that. Their swarm was great. Right? To me, what dictates a good defense is how many hats are to the football play by play. And religiously throughout the game, at least 6 to 7, 8, 9 to 10 hats always around the ball. A lot of excitement. And that's the Cougar defense I like. And that's what I like to see continuing for the Cougar defense, okay? Right? Now, let's get into some X's and O's. Since I just talked defense, let's get into some defensive X's and O's, okay? So, there was a play in the game that y'all may not notice, right? DB Amarni Marsh, right? It was about a 4th and 3. We're down 10-0, second quarter, I believe 13 minutes left, right? And it's 4th and 3, right? Idaho is reeling. If we don't stop them right now on this 4th down conversion, we have a high probability of losing this game, right? So what Idaho did is they went into their 12 personnel, right? 2 tight end sets. If you don't know what 12 personnel is, the 1 in the 12 means the running back. The 2 in the 12 means the tight end. So let me just draw up a 12 personnel real quick for you. All right. So they're in 12 personnel. If you can look at there right there, I know that kind of looks sloppy, right? But that Y represents the tight end. That H represents the tight end, all right? The R represents the running back. The Q represents the quarterback. And obviously the X and the Z are the receivers. We don't have no time for debate right now. We're not on some Ocho versus Brandon Marshall. I don't know who's the X. I don't know who's the Z right now. God damn it. But if the X and Z was right there. Defensively was in our 40 front. In our 40 front, had our mic right there to the ball, had our nickel right here, had our mic, right? Had a corner right here displaced, had a safety right here displaced, right? Had our other corner right here, right? So what I want y'all to notice is our defense. We run something called a 40 defense. That means that we always got 4 D linemen down, right? 4 D linemen down, usually 2 linebackers, right? And 5 DBs. And Marnie Marsh usually is our nickel linebacker, right? So on the play I'm talking about, what Idaho tried to do was they tried to influence all of the DBs, all of the secondary players to go more towards the field so they can leak out this running back right there on the swing play, right? That running back right there, right? If you look at the play, and obviously I can't put the play up because of some copywriting issues, right? But if you put the play up, Amarni Marsh played it perfectly, right? He sat at his nickel position right here. Usually as a DB linebacker, right, they tell you to take a re-step, take a couple steps, right? If you look at the play, Amarni Marsh stayed totally still, like he was meditating or something. He stayed totally still, ready to make a play. So on the snap of the ball, this wide receiver goes out and do him a little drag route. What I like to call it more, when a drag route to me is under 5 yards. When it goes past 5 yards, I like to call it an over route. So he does an over route. This right here does a drag route. What they're trying to do, Idaho is trying to do, they're trying to influence these guys' eyes right here. Their eyes. That's my little poor drawing of some eyes right there. But what they're trying to do is influence these guys' eyes right here, their eyes right here, to look at these right here. So they can follow this, and the Q can just dump it to the running back for a first down, right? All right? Get them eyes out the way, right? So, like I said, Amarni Marsh played it perfect. It was 4th and 3, right? So, Amarni Marsh, instead of backpedaling right, he stood completely still. He noticed that something was up. If they had two guys basically that's eligible inside the box and they're dragging, he knew that this running back could do a real route.
And this kid made the most amazing play I've seen all night. The boy catches the ball, quarterback throws it. Amani Marsh comes full speed, inside out, form tackle, right? Near foot, near shoulder, right foot, right shoulder, boom, laying the hammer on him. Big 4th and 3 stop, and that right there sparked it all. It sparked the offensive momentum. After that, offense get a couple first downs. They end up scoring later in that quarter, right? We make it a 10-10 tie going into halftime. And now it's a different ball game, right? Now, if they convert that right there, right, Idaho may get another field goal. Now it's 13-0. We may kick a field goal, may not score, right? And you just don't want to leave it up to their hands. You just don't want to leave it up to their hands, right? So, defensively, this is the play that I really like the most, right? Now, let's go to the offensive side of the ball. All right, guys, and now I want to move to the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, Cool Grade, Air Raid, Morris, we all want to talk offense, right? And it's a particular formation, right? A particular formation that Washington State was in on Saturday night that I really liked a lot. And it brings a different element into our passing game, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw up the formation. Go here. All right. So the formation was, guys, right? Y over H, right there. So this flex formation right here, as you can see, this flex formation, basically what it's saying is you have two receivers right here, right? A running back in the backfield, right? You have a wing right here. A wing is basically like a tight end, a halfback, right? Most coaches, if you look at their game plans or you look at their practice scripts, some coaches have this as an H, right? But for these purposes and also for the purposes of how many receivers we use at Wazoo, right? I'm going to keep that as the Y, all right? And then we have an X right there, right? So we were most successful offensively, I feel like, gaining our best explosive plays out of this formation. Why? It's the power of Nakia. Not Akia, the power of Nakia Watson. Nakia Watson's ability to be a north-south downhill runner, pressing them running backs, pressing them safeties, right? It allows our offense to open up in ways that we haven't seen, right? The more he runs the ball, right, the more the linebackers bite on that run, the more the safeties bite on that run. So now when Cam does a play action, right, especially with that wing in there, the safeties and the linebackers are thinking run. So when you do that play action pass, now you have your receivers getting behind that second level, getting easy completions, okay? A particular play that I really liked a lot, right, was the play action with the quick slant after it, right? So this is a play that RG3 ran a lot of back his rookie year with Washington, right? It's a staple of the Lincoln Riley Oklahoma offense, right? So all he's doing is basically is this. What we did was this. We either send him in motion sometimes. We either send him in motion, right? Or we can just keep him here, right? But the main thing is though, we want to give the illusion that we're running downhill, right? We want to give the illusion that we're running down here, right? Idaho was in a 40-man front, right? So you have 4 D linemen down. They had a Mike backer, and they also displaced their other backers. Let's call, for this sake, let's call this the Willie, and let's call this the nickel, right? So as Cam fakes the run with Watt, right, these guys step up, right? Because Watt ran for 117 yards, right? If somebody's rushing for that many yards, you might want to step up if they're showing a run, right? So as they step up, right, you have our H and our Z, right here, both running. A post route to me is a little bit deeper, and a slant route is a little bit shorter. I like to call them deep slants, right? Deep slants, about 10 yards stick in, right? And what that allows us to do is, Cam to do is, notice the windows, right? If this middle backer steps up and it's a high safety up here, it's a high safety up here. So if this high safety right here, and if this high safety right here decides to either bite down, right, then you have this alley right here. If this high safety decides to get on that post, now Cam can throw it to the H right there. So it all intertwines, right? All intertwines. The power of the tight end is real, guys. The power of the tight end is absolutely real. You gotta be able to run the ball, right? You gotta be able to run the ball. You gotta be able to keep the other team defense honest, right? And with us running the ball, getting those kind of momentums, right, guys, it allowed us to have some big plays offensively. We only threw for 215 yards, but I guarantee you most of the explosive pass plays, most of the explosive yards came off of this play, right? Fake the play action to right here, right? Get these linebackers the bite, right? And now you got this receiver and this receiver right here wide open, okay? So that's pretty much my breakdown, right? Overall, go Cougs, right? I think they had a great game defensively. Offensively, it's the first one. It's the first one, right? Morris just got there. The air raid is all about timing, and the air raid is all about continuity, right? Continuity, right? This is these guys' first time really getting out there together. I could expect nothing but great things moving forward for the Cougs, right? That is X's and O presented by CougFan.com. Please go subscribe to CougFan.com, and also obviously subscribe to the Leisure Time Podcast. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.